Hey, and welcome to the Str8Up Show Podcast. I am your host, Calvin. Today I'm running solo. Some of you, if you follow us on social media, you know that we're going to start this thing called Music Mondays. I'm pretty sure they have other places, but we're going to have one here at Str8Up. As most of you know that know me really closely, I used to be a DJ, radio DJ, music DJ, and all the music you hear on our show is actually produced by me. Yes, I produce my own music. And so I am a big music buff. I love music. So I want to give this opportunity to do what I love outside of talking to people and bringing you straight up content, but this time to do it with music. And I have a lot of friends and love talking and meeting new people and artists that does music and create music. So what better way to have a segment to be called Music Mondays? And in reality, it's also a way for me to keep content going when I'm like editing long shows. But that's here or there. But I am by myself today, and we're gonna start Music Monday. I don't discriminate against any genre of music, hip hop, country, R&B. I love all kinds of music. I'm a master of the craft. So what better way to do this? And I hope you all like this new segment we're gonna do to fill in some filler. But this is a new segment that I think that all of you will like. I want to bring in some people that you've never heard of, but I promise you, if you follow them on social media, you'll love their music. And we hope that that if you support us, you support them. So I want to take this time to introduce somebody that I know. I have been our very first Music Monday artist, Miss Viktoria Silk. Viktoria, how you doing today?
I am well. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for being the first artist on the Music Monday segment. So glad to have you today.
Happy to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, and I want to tell everyone that I do know Victoria. We actually met, we actually worked together at our real jobs, but we actually bonded over our real love for music, and just I'm pretty sure people see me, they don't think that I have a radio voice, but if you see Victoria on the streets, you wouldn't think that, oh, she can just blow the way she blows. I mean, do you get that all the time, Victoria, or what?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like my speaking voice and my singing voice are different, and just kind of my style, like clothing and the way I act is a little different than my music. So yeah, kind of throws people off. I don't think they expect it, but it's hard to gauge
Yeah.
what somebody's gonna what their artistic ability is.
Yeah, and that's why you should never assume because we all know what happens when you assume. You know what I mean. You know the rest of it, right?
Yeah.
But that's how music is, right? You just never know what you're going to hear. The smallest person can have the biggest voice. And you, my friend, you have an incredible voice. I mean, I am definitely privileged to have you as a first artist. But I mean, for those out there who do not know your music, can you just, what's your style? Like, what kind of artist, what genre do you think that you fall into?
Yeah, so I try to put myself in I think call it alternative R&B. I think definitely like my lyrics and the vocal style, they are R&B all the way, but um, the music that I produce myself, it definitely has an electronic-ish vibe to it. Like it has all the R&B chords, like it's smooth, but then it's like with synthesizers and, drum machines, and sometimes I'll put a drop in there randomly because that's kind of, that's my original love was like electronic music, and like I'm like a rave kid. So yeah, but I collab a lot with other artists, with producers, and they send me a lot of R&B type of beats, and so yeah, whenever I produce or collaborate with somebody, it ends up being very like modern R&B versus alternative.
So you've been able to make music just by just working with other artists?
Yeah, yeah. I have like Instagram to thank, and I wish that I had joined it earlier because I've met so many other artists like virtually, and people in real life in like other like states that we kept in touch through Instagram, and it's really opened up a lot of doors musically, and I just I like social media for that. It's great. But yeah. I just the stuff that comes from other people. It's just really nice to have somebody kind of do I don't know, send me an idea that I would never have thought of. Just there's so many great producers out there. It's crazy how
Yeah. And if you haven't heard any of her stuff, I would definitely tell you to go to her Instagram to look at some of her stuff, to see some of the people she's worked with, not only just her music, but the people she's worked with as well. We're going to talk more with Victoria here in a second. Make sure you stay tuned to the Straight Up Show podcast, Music Mondays, up next. Hey, Calvin here, host of the Str8Up Show Podcast. And guess what? We're back bigger and better than ever with new guests, new straight up topics, and a new way to support the Str8Up Show Podcast. That's right. You can now support our podcast by becoming a Patreon patron. Str8Up has 4 different tiers that you can choose from, with each tier having their own perks. Your monthly donation helps us produce efficient Str8Up content that you love so much. For more details, visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/Str8Up Show Podcast 318. That's patreon.com/Str8Up Show Podcast 318. Okay, and we're back. Like I said, this is our new segment called Music Mondays. It's a shorter version of the podcast, but we get a chance to actually hear about people's music and see what they're into and things like that. And Victoria, like I said, she's alternative R&B, electronic, and kind of type rave. But I mean, she has some bangers that, you know, I'm like, wow, this is my coworker, or this is somebody that I know that can produce this. And Victoria, I mean, I've talked to other artists before, but I want to, me personally, when I create, I mean, for those who do not create music, I mean, just like like Shrek, they have onions have layers, you know, but music has layers, especially when you're producing. And I don't know about you, Victoria, but when I listen to any kind of song, it's never lyrics first. It's never lyrics first. It's always the music itself. And when listening to the music, I'm listening to the different layers. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
No, that makes perfect sense. I am totally with you on the lyrics. Like, it'll take me like 5 times, like 10 times to hear a song, and I'm like, wait, the song is about something. Like, I get it. Like, the song is story. Like, what? I'm just like mind blown when I figure out that what the song is about, and then it gives it a new life. It's really cool. It's like a rebirth. Like, I don't know, hard to explain, but I get it. It's those lyrics don't come at me first. It's always the music.
So with that being said, so we have this layer, right? We have these layers. So I want to ask you, since we're talking about layers, the core. So here's your seed. You have this idea in your head. Just take us to the process, and can you just walk through us where your mind is at when you're going through these building these layers, and then finally having a finished product? Just take us where your mind is when you do this.
Yeah. So like when I start a song, I first just kind of sit down in the studio, and I bring up kind of my essential template, if you will. I have like a Rhodes style like keyboard already set up in my software. I have my drum machines, and I have like a standard synthesizer, just something that I know is that I want to have access to easily. And you know, depending on the type, I don't know, I guess the mood or where the song goes. Sometimes I start with a kind of a melody in my head. I don't have words for it or anything, but I'll just kind of start with a melody in my head and like kind of bang it out on the keyboard, figure out like what key I'm working in. And I start with chords. I feel like a tempo. I make a very simple drum beat, you know, just like kick, snare, you know, and just something to kind of start vibing to. And then the lyrics come later on. I have a notebook full of like random ideas, like just like a one-liner, just things that pop into my head, and I'll just kind of go through those and find one that I think feels right with what I'm making so far, and then from there I just build on top of that one line and kind of make a song out of it and then harmonize with it, add more layers. And yeah, it's just, I don't know if that answered your question, but
No, no,
that's kind
you're
of how it all happens. It just kind of lops out of me.
yeah, it's cool. And some people, have a different way of creating art. And like I said, it can be the smallest thing that you think of that can be the biggest project ever. Trust me, I am simple here. I mean, this whole show came about being hungry and eating at a restaurant, and we came up with this podcast. So here we are,
It's
but
happened.
not, just so with that being said, what actually, you have a notebook full of stuff, but uh, first off, what inspires you to do music?
Yeah, so I've been doing, I've been a musician since I was little. My parents, they had like a piano, just an acoustic piano around since I was little, and I would always tinker with it. My mom got me lessons, so I've been doing it for a very like long time. But I was classically trained all the way through. Through graduating high school, and after that I went to audio engineering school, and that's where I learned about MIDI. And like I said earlier, like electronic music was like always my vibe. Like I just love it. But when I went to school, I figured out how it was made, and there was never like a course on how to make electronic music, but like I found out like the tools and the way to make it happen. So from there I started making electronic music because that's what inspired me. But I also wanted to have like more lyrics and words, and there are there's lyrical electronic music, but I don't know, I just kind of ended up morphing into more on the R&B side because I just like the vocals. I like, singing about like, I don't know, just telling stories, whether it's like love and hurt or just, hanging out. And yeah, it's, have always been inspired to be in music since I
Yeah,
was
I
little.
forgot I forgot what song it was. Is it Friday night or Sunday night? I forgot which one was it.
Sunday. Yeah, it's called Sunday.
Sunday night. Oh yeah. Oh, I love that. That was like my jam. I love that.
I
And you guys, I'll post some links to her music, but man, that song, it was like, man, that song is catchy. I like that song.
Yeah, real
Um,
life.
yeah, I'm sorry.
I know, I was just saying, yeah, that one's like real life. I mean, it's just about me and my husband because very often on Sundays, like that's what we're doing. It's just kind of day drinking and chilling.
Just chilling on Sunday night. Hey, you're keeping it real, right? You're keeping it real.
Yeah.
Who would you say that is some of your musical influences?
Yeah, oh, so many. I think that one of my favorite artists right now, Sabrina Claudio. She is an amazingly beautiful singer, and just I don't know if she does all of her songwriting or she has a team, but oh my gosh, her music and lyrics and just like her voice, like oh my gosh, it's so airy and gorgeous. So she's somebody I listen to so much. And then I mean, I love Alicia Keys, of course. I think like, she's just like so classic and amazing on piano. She's just she is music. And then I mean, I love Beyonce. I like her a lot. I like Billie Eilish. Like she's a badass. And there's so many. I can go on. Oh, Ariana Grande. That voice. That voice.
I think we became enemies now. I'm just kidding. I'm just not. I love her voice, but I just can't get behind Ariana Grande. But hey, people love
Yeah.
her. She can sing. I'm not gonna take that from her, but just other stuff.
Yeah.
I'm a big Mac Miller fan.
Oh my
So
gosh, yes.
you
Uh,
know,
my heart. Uh, yeah, no, Mac Miller is
and then
amazing.
Peter
Oh.
Davidson. No shade to Peter Davidson, but I'm like Mac Miller, Peter Davidson. Sorry,
It's
that's
just
just a sore spot for me right now. I'm sorry.
it's okay. It takes time to heal.
But yeah, those are great artists to actually listen to. But we're gonna have more Victoria Silk here in a second. Here in a second, make sure you stay tuned.
Break open the bottle with my man. Got no plans. Finish this weekend with my best friend. It's Sunday. It's Sunday. Why can't we turn up on Sunday? It's still LA.
everybody, Lee here. And guess what? The reviews are in and the Str8Up Show Podcast is a hit. Don't believe me? Well, listen to what one of our guest panelists, Dr. Monique Thompson, has to say.
Y'all listening to Str8Up and support this podcast, because I listened in before I came on the show. I liked what I heard. They're really focusing on keeping things real and being real with you, and I like that approach. So you guys support this podcast.
So if you want to listen, donate to the show, have a subject idea, or even want to be a guest, just contact us at straightupshow@gmail.com. That's straightupshow@gmail.com.
Okay, and we're back with Viktoria Silk. Thank you once again so much for coming on the show. In the last segment, you said that Sabrina Claudia was one of your influences, and you yourself of Hispanic heritage, and does it play a big factor in your music too?
Yeah, so I think that, I don't speak Spanish, sadly, but I love my culture. And I think that a huge part of my love for music comes from my dad playing like salsa. Like, he is a huge salsero. That is literally, I think, the only thing he listened to since before I was born till now and for forever. And, I think that having that, that love for just like loud, like music that impacts you, I don't know, I don't want to say it's like a cultural thing, but like it's been a huge influence to me, like having that salsa music. And one day I would love to, do something salsa related, but I need to get my Spanish a little bit better first. But I think that being a Latina, like not just like singer, but producer and audio engineer, it's kind of, given me something to improve with the world, and something to offer that isn't quite out there. And I don't know if it makes any sense, but
No, I mean that's perfectly fine. I mean, Latino music is definitely like to me the sexiest and has the best love story.
it's so good. And man, like reggaeton too, I would love to make some reggaeton songs, because oh my gosh, that's sexy music. Like, you can
It
get
is.
it's so good. So many musical like realms that I want to go into. It's just the beginning, and I'm excited to keep
Hey,
on.
but hey, when COVID's over with, I have a Latino like hip hop thing. If you want to, I can see the beat, you can listen to it, and maybe
Man.
we can collab on
Dude,
something.
yeah, it's like I love getting beats. It's like a whole nother like awesome part about this, even like remote collaborating. Like, it's just nice to like get a beat, and it's just, you sit down with a notebook and a microphone and you just ramble weird stuff until something cool comes out, and then you're like, yes, now I
Yeah.
just gotta build on this. It's
And
great.
that's why we have Music Mondays, so we can actually blend and talk and feed off other artists. Because I mean, like I said, you work with people, you've been on Instagram and stuff like that. I mean, I've heard some of your music, and going back to the whole Hispanic culture. I mean, you do rep your hometown a lot, so I mean, I love
Oh
that.
yeah, El Paso. Oh my gosh, yep. I love El Paso. If nobody's like been there, it's a great little city. Like, it's right. You cross a bridge and you're in Mexico. So, like it's mass majority Mexicans, and it's such a beautiful, beautiful city. It's in the desert. It has mountains, like the sunsets, the people, the food. I love it. I can go on forever about how much I love El Paso. It's a great
Oh,
city.
I see it all the time. I'm like, I need to go to El Paso.
You
I'm a
do.
I'm a wrestling fan, so I mean, I know that Eddie Guerrero is from El Paso, so I'm like, oh man, I love El Paso, Eddie Guerrero.
We have another great R&B artist out of there, Khalid. I mean, he's not like from El Paso, but El Paso claims him. He lived there a couple years when he was like making like his music. So we claim him.
Now, and you said that people should go visit El Paso, but I want to know why people should listen to your music.
Yeah. So I'm very, very proud of my music, and I think that people should listen to my music because it's all based on just realness. Every song that I make is either based off of something that's happened to me, stories, and stuff that happens from my friends. I feel like I'm a very empathetic person, and I see like friends and family and people that I know going through stuff, and I feel it in my heart, and like I don't know, it's like a way for me to, I don't know, I don't want to say to help heal them because they have their own healing process, but since I feel like so deeply about things that are going on with people that I love, I want to, like, I don't know, I just want to be on that level, and I want to kind of understand, and like making music about like my own experiences and people around me, it's it's something that I feel like you don't see too often in music. I can't speak on behalf of other songwriters. They might be doing the exact same thing.
Right.
But yeah, it's real, and it's just fun. Like a lot of the stuff that I come out with, it's mostly like upbeat, but I do have some of my slower songs, and I hope that they like smack you in the feels, because it took a lot of feels to get there. And then aside from that, I think it's a great thing to support local people and smaller artists, and there's so many of us out there. And I mean, I don't want you to just support me, but like go and listen to like stuff on SoundCloud, like get lost in YouTube, like listen to those things that have 200 hits and like
Yeah.
there's so much good music, and we live in such a beautiful time in the period of existence that music is so readily available, and it's easy to just post it somewhere for the artist. And you get a lot of bad with the good, but there's so much good that is overlooked by bigger artists, and the
The
bigger
hidden
artists,
gems.
you have so many. So yeah.
Well, before we let you go, can you just tell us about some future projects that you're working on? That's something that your fans could be looking out for?
Yeah. So I have about 5 or 6 like singles coming out, a lot of collaborations. For one of my own projects, I hope to be releasing it here in the next coming month. It's going to be called 5 Minutes of Your Time, and it is a 5-song album, and each of the songs are just a minute, or roughly a minute. Some of them are like a minute and 10 seconds, but just to kind of give it a name that sticks. But yeah, so it's going to be a very short album, but all of these songs are a minute, and I feel that a song doesn't have to be, the exact 2-minute 30 seconds or 2-minute 45 seconds. Sometimes, you can get all the impact and everything you have to say out in a minute, and it's like, why drag it, So that's
Spoken like a true artist.
So yeah, I'm excited to put that out. I have all the songs ready, just gonna do a couple last final vocals and mix it, master it, and I do all the mixing and mastering myself. It'll be great to have a mastering engineer once, but I do like to mix my own stuff.
Kind of sounds like this show. I'm sorry. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, yep. Hey, it's so much fun, like mixing your stuff, and I just love audio and software and all that in general. So it's great.
Yeah, same here. That's why we're good friends,
Yeah.
right?
We love all the stuff, all the clicking and the gadgets and it's great.
Yeah, and there's no shade to my team. I love all the support, the team that do help me out. I'm just kidding, but yes, I like to do my own stuff too because it's my art. But no, I definitely like to support people who do help me. Viktoria Silk, thank you so much for coming on the show. If people want to find you, where can they find you on social media and support your music?
So pretty much across all platforms, whether it's YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. TikTok is a little bit on a different realm of things. I talk a lot about gear, but I do also do music. But yeah, so Viktoria, you'll spell Victoria with a K. So Viktoria with the K, Silk, normal spelling of it. And you'll be able to find me pretty much everywhere with that.
Okay, and plus we'll have all your social media links on our podcast as well, so you can make sure you visit her music and support her music, and like you said, support other people's music because there may be a hidden gem amongst all the popular music you hear on TV, and it's nice to hear from an artist who makes their own music, do their own remastering, everything like that. So Viktoria Silk, thank you so much for coming on the Str8Up Show podcast. Music Mondays. But before you go, you're going to give us a little piece of something, right?
Sure am.
This is Viktoria Silk, and I'm going to be doing my song Unexpected. It is an acoustic version, and I hope you like it. Fucked up, life got me fucked up, throwing curveballs at my face when I can't even see straight. I won't take the bait. No, 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 I won't take the bait. Fucked up, got myself fucked up. Here with my friends was the best, and I didn't think I'd ever see you in the same room. Thought you had moved. Now I'm in this weird mood, in this weird mood. Chemistry you pulled away from me. Messy history was written in the city. You were the last one, and